Welcome to another Founder Wisdom podcast. We have Nilla Länsman with us. He is co-founder at Nålla Kova Sooda, which is a hard seltzer. It's a beautiful company. He's based in Finland. He's been in finance before, has an interesting background, and I love his company. This podcast is brought to you by Podpire. By the way, if you want to start, scale, be invited to podcasts like this one, go to podpire.com. Nilla, can you tell us a bit more about yourself and about your company?
Sure. Well, I'm originally from the northernmost part of Finland, about 300 kilometers north of the Arctic Circle. I grew up in a Sami reindeer herding family, but during my university studies, I preached out a bit internationally, so I ended up studying in London, and I ended up there working in finance for about a decade. Did an MBA in Singapore in between, but most of my time abroad was spent in London. First investment banking, then PE, and then I worked for a big asset management company, so public equities mostly. And about 2 years ago, we found this hard seltzer business in Finland. Few of my products here, and well, I moved to Finland in February last year to run this business full time, and have been doing it ever since.
Why did you decided to start a seltzer company? I mean, you could have got into like banking or consulting, starting your own company into that. Why launch a complex product like this one?
Well, some people probably could argue that some financial products are reasonably complex too. Well, it's not that I had an idea of business spreading for a long time. Apparently, had you asked me 5 years ago whether in what industry I would launch a business, should I eventually do that, it would have been my own equities fund. But I ran into Seltzers on a work trip in autumn 2019 in US, which was the after the summer they really took off in US, summer of Seltzers, and I grew in very interested in the product, and then the following summer, my firm actually ended up investing in one of the leading players in US seltzer market, a company called Boston Beer, which makes some Adams craft beer, if you can call it craft beer these days, and also Truly Seltzer. So it being my investment, I grew very familiar with the business model and so, and it actually grew from there. So I started speaking with some friends of mine who happen to be specialists in various areas, like an architect I know got interested and promised me to design the can for us and so forth. Coincidentally, I think after a decade in London, I think kind of the hand was played already in multiple ways. After Brexit, a lot of friends of mine moved out from the country. Basically, all the people from Nordic countries worked on sell side in banks, since European Union financial regulation forbids financial products to be sold from outside European Union to inside European Union. So these people had to be relocated to Paris, and especially during COVID, a lot of people moved out from London. So it really wasn't the place to be during the heaviest lockdowns. I also spent a lot of time in Finland during that time, and well, many of them didn't come back at all. So I felt that okay, London, maybe it's kind of over for me, and also I had grown a slightly disillusioned maybe about financial career overall. I mean, people still earn good salaries, at least from Finnish point of view, with lower taxation, but the career ladder had gotten much steeper, and you probably could argue that at least on public market side, the markets had gotten more efficient. So I didn't see my life story as earning 2% alpha, 3% alpha over the cycle. Like that's not the racist story you could come up with. So since I had this idea, I decided to run with it.
It's a pretty interesting product. I love the website and the images. It reminds me of the Svalbard, sort of. I'm Canadian, so I just love going in the snow and long walks or run in the forest. It's my peaceful place, you know, that and the beach, sort of, but more the forest with like minus 30 degrees Celsius. So I really relate to that. I'm watching your Instagram as well. I see a bunch of athletes. I see a bunch of cool dinners. I see saunas. So really like what you guys are doing. Apparently, you're into more than 100 stores in Finland.
Way more. I
Way
mean,
more.
we impede at least 1,000. It's slightly seasonal product, so cannot claim that every minute. It's actually a bit hard to track how many stores we're currently in. If some store drop our product, it's not like we get the huge warnings announcement somewhere or anything. So during summer months, we probably close to the 1,000 stores, and during winter months, it's smaller number than that.
Wow. So how do you get into that many stores? And I would guess that you're almost everywhere in Finland at this point. Like, what's your growth strategy there?
Well, there's more than about 3,000 off-trade location grocery stores in Finland. So way to go then. I would imagine it depends on the market structure in any individual market, how the retail landscape is divided. But in Finland, it's hugely concentrated. So two leading grocery chains, they control more than 80% of the market. And with one of them, you negotiate with the headquarters. They have centralized buying, and they announced twice a year the store coverage you're gonna get. And with the other one, well, you can make a deal with the headquarters too, but we are still getting there. But this chain operates with franchising principle, and the store owners can make individual decisions what they stock on about half of their assortment. So it's been just a huge amount of legwork then going around these stores.
So how many cans do you sell a year?
Well, this is our second full year in the market, so well, it's not a static number, right? But I would imagine this year we'll be selling maybe 300,000.
Yeah, it's not Bud Light, but it's quite impressive. Yeah, 300,000. Is it sold in a pack of 24 cans?
Well,
In
you
two
could,
stores, right?
and some retailers they don't break down the packages. We ship to them in the packs of 24 or trays. For example, Lidl, they don't break down the cans from the tray, but taking into account the very high excise taxes on alcohol in Finland, and also a large value-added tax. And we are not playing the low end of market price wise. Actually, 24 cans of our goods in with typical stores, it would be something like 70 euros maybe, which is actually quite large purchase. So yeah, typically people buy as can by can.
Wow. Okay. So 70 euros, and they resell it at twice that, or like what's the
No,
reselling?
that's the retail price to end customer.
Okay, 70.
Naturally,
And you sell it to them at
naturally.
like 50 euros or a bit less?
Well, well, I don't want to go into that, but there's big amount of things you need to add to the price when after it leaves our warehouses. So there's 66 cents direct alcohol tax added. Then there's 12 cents recycling deposit, which the customer gets, and that's before VAT, the recycling deposit. The customer gets it back if they take the empty can to any store out there. And then you add the retailer margin, which depending of the store is probably 30 to 40%, and then you add the 24% VAT. And so if you walk backwards from there, our sales price to the retail stores is not 30 euros.
Yeah, for sure. And let's say that a store in average, it buys 300 cans from you a year, in average, right? Like, I mean, you probably have big supermarkets or something like that, but that would be 10 orders ish, if not 13 orders per year. My next question is like, how do you compete with these other products? Are you like the only artisanal / cool hard seltzer out there, or do you have competition?
Well, for sure we do. We are the only hard seltzer startup operating in Finland, but naturally, and the big boys of Finnish beverage markets, some of them owned by these multinational beverage companies, do have their own seltzers, and it's much easier for them to get wide distribution. And also there are some smaller beverage houses that also make seltzers. We for sure cannot claim that there wouldn't be competition out there. The international seltzer brands have not taken off in Finland very well. The market leader in US, White Claw, is trying, imported by one of the biggest beverage houses in Finland, but thus far at least it's kind of Finnish market for Finnish products for Finnish consumers. For some reason, I think you're muted now.
Yeah, I am. Thank you for that. I was saying that obviously, like from a brand perspective, you look way better. Then on the taste level, why do people adopt you? Like, do you like reach a specific taste that is that a lot of people enjoy, or like, how do you distinguish yourself?
Well, in the end, it's for the end consumer to decide. But what we're at least attempting to do is to have clear single flavors that would be well adapted to Finnish markets, preferably Finnish plants that grow in Finland. Seltzer typically has very light taste, so the typical troubles you can get with that kind of flavor profile is that you either taste alcohol to the beverage, which for most consumers is not a good thing. Maybe some people would like to taste of some vodka there, but most of them don't. And also it's easy to taste very artificial, especially if you try to hide the taste of alcohol by adding just more stronger flavors. I think that we have done quite good job in avoiding those two pitfalls. We try to be very Finnish, fresh, and so forth, while it feels at least that some of the big beverage houses they have a bit of a brand package, legacy package to carry. So if they're known for some certain kind of ciders, for example, it's hard for them to not taste like those ciders, at least in consumer minds. And naturally, if a consumer is looking for the genuine seltzer experience, that's not necessarily a good thing for them.
Right. And I see you partner with various athletes, with folks in various situations, chilling and so forth. What's your influencer strategy, if you have one? Under who do you want to be promoted?
Well, we naturally want to be seen as the low calorie option. So it's good to be associated with something healthy. Finnish alcohol advertising regulation is very strong. We're for sure not allowed to promote as drinks as healthy. But it's nice to be associated with fun activities that might burn calories and so forth. Naturally, another nice things about social media is that it's easy to track all kind of metrics. So it's an advertising channel through which you have some idea how your money is spent. Naturally, seeing some kind of paid promotion in social media on social media platforms doesn't compare to actually physically tasting the product. So while it's nice to be seen on social media, it's much better to be actually present somewhere where a customer meets you face to face. And again, Finnish alcohol regulation is kind of strict. In many markets, you promote new alcoholic beverages by giving out free samples on retail store floors. That's just strictly illegal in Finland. So what we try to do is to have a very strong presence in all kind of events in which we can sell alcohol. And through this way, the customer gets like direct feel of the brand and the product.
Right. Last but not least, tell us about deer herding. What is it about? And yeah, why do you like doing that?
Well, it's kind of family business going through the generations, lifestyle thingy. But well, each and every reindeer in Finland is owned by someone. But in most of the areas, for most of the year, they free wild in nature. We do have fences, but those fences are quite big, even on American standards. They're tens by tens of kilometers. So you actually in our own area, you gather them only twice a year, which is during the around midsummer to mark the newborn calf to show who owns them. When they get born, naturally, you cannot tell that straight away. And then you gather them again early winter to well, butcher the ones you want to butcher.
Looks like delicious meat I'm seeing on your Instagram. Where can people find out more about you, Nilla?
Well, we do have, we're mostly Finnish brand right now. So our main Instagram page is, I think it's in Finnish, and the same goes with our website. But we have launched in some like, well, international expansion thingies. So we do have international website as well, and international Instagram account too. And we do have one tap in English on our main website. Funny thing, in Finland, if you open an alcoholic beverage website, you have to ask consumer whether they're 18 or not. And if they're not, our webpage directs them people to some kids clip on YouTube. And I think in Finnish, the word for no, it can fool some English consumers since it's en, which might make you think like this is the English website then. So don't be fooled by that if you want to check us out.
And you also have a Villa Veibumu, which is beautiful. If folks want to see the northern lights and have a sauna, it looks like quite the amazing
actually
place.
have two villas in my whole time I had quite recently built, and already have had some Hollywood people there. Apple was filming a big TV production in Finland during January, and their biggest star, Noomi Rapace, the Swedish actress, I think she stayed in one of my places for a month.
Nice. Hope she had a good time there. So thank you so much, Nilla. It's been fun. That is Nilla Länsman on LinkedIn if you want to find. And I am Charles Cormier, host of founderwisdompodcast.com.